Hello friends, welcome to Programming Concepts. My name is Amit and this is part 16 of ASP.NET Core MVC tutorial. In this video, we will talk about models in MVC and we will create them practically. This is continuation to part 15, create database and set up folder structure. So please watch it before proceeding to this one. I shared the link in the description. So as per definition, models is the central component of the MVC pattern. It is the application's dynamic data structure, independent of user interface. It directly manages the data, logics, and rules of the application. In short, models handles data and business logic. And how it can handle that? So let's say we have database and we have an employee database there within SQL Server, which have a table TBL employee. And this TBL employee have following columns. So to hold similar data in C#, you will create similar class to hold that data. That is a model for us. This class is a model for us. Similarly, we need a class to interact with our database, and that will be another model for us. Simple, extremely simple. Enough theory. Let's create a model in a project. And this is the MOM which we are following, and we already covered very basics, first 3 steps. Next, in step 4 and 5, we need to create models to fetch data from database and model to hold that data in C#, right? So let's create that. So this is the project which we are working with. First, we need to create a class to hold the employee information. So within models folder, we need to create that class. Okay, so it's models, not model. There is a typing error. And it's controllers, not controller. So let's correct that. Next, right click on models and add a class. And let's name it employee. So let's add all the properties which are there in our database TBL employee. First is ID of type int. Second is name of type string. Third is salary of type int. And the last one is department of type int. So I'm not naming it DEPT_ID just to avoid any confusion whether this ID belongs to employee table or department table. Alright, so our first model class is ready. Next, we need to fetch all employee details from database, right? So first thing is we need to provide connection string. So where do we need to provide connection string details? It's in appsetting.json file. So let's open it. It has already have few predefined configuration settings. Leave them. After allowed host, specify comma, then connection strings within double quotes, then colon, curly braces open and curly braces close. And let's name our connection string to employee context within double quotes. Then again colon, next within double quotes we need to specify connection string details. First is server, so let's copy and paste this detail from SQL Server. And next is database, which is employee. Third is UID, which is user identity. Specify that. In our case, it is SA. Let's specify password, which is this one, and that's it. So our connection string is ready. Now we need to create a class where we write our actual code to interact with SQL Server database. But we are working with SQL. Maybe some other clients want to fetch data from Hadoop or SharePoint or PostgreSQL, anything. And as a developer, there is a very high possibility we don't know how to code in all these technologies, right? So let's create an interface which will give us a basic outline to our project. I mean, irrespective of target repository, let's define what we require to make our application work. So let's define an interface first. Right click on model folder, add new item and select interface. And let's name it I employee. repository. So in MOM, we decided that we will specify IDB layer, but the point is DB layer work if we are 100% sure that in future, as well as our end repository will be database only, and we will only have one database. But as the requirement grows, so as the complexity. So it is advisable to create repository naming functionality specific. Okay. So let's make this iEmployee repository public. Next, what we want our application should return list of all employees, right? So let's create a method within this interface and let's name it getEmployees. And what this method will return, it's return list of employees, right? So our employee interface is also ready. Now it's time to implement our most important class, which is Sql Db Layer Class. So right click on Models folder, add class, and let's name it Sql Db Layer. And let's inherit our newly created interface and let's implement that interface as well. Now this class required connection string, which is specified in app setting to communicate with database. So how we can get that? So for .NET Core already provided a feature to get it via dependency injection. So we haven't talked about dependency injection yet. Do not worry, we'll talk about it in our upcoming videos. For now, let's open startup.cs class and then create a public variable of configuration. So public iConfiguration, and this iConfiguration interface is present under Microsoft.extension.configuration. So let's add it. And let's name it configuration with capital C and provide only get accessor because setting its value is performed within this file only via dependency injection. So curly braces open, get accessor, curly braces close. Next, create a constructor of startup.cs class, CTOR tab, and let's say parameter be iConfiguration space configuration. And let's assign this variable to our local variable. And that's it. Now this variable is available across your application. Let's see that. Let's get back to our Sql Db Layer class. Similar to how we create iConfiguration object in startup.cs class, let's just copy and paste this declaration and paste it in Sql Db Layer class as well. And let's create a constructor CTOR tab. In similar way, provide iConfiguration parameter and assign it to your local variable. Add namespace and that's it. All your configuration is available via this object. And this is called dependency injection via constructor. Do not worry, we will talk about it more. Just as of now, think of it as a variable which is there to provide you all the configurations. All right, let's see how we can use this variable. So within getEmployees method, let's define a variable list of employees and let's name it employees is equal to new list of employee. And let's return that object. Next, we need a SQL connection object. So using SQL connection and SQL connection present under system.data.sql client. So click on find and install latest one. And we are done. So SQL connection con is equal to new SQL connection bracket open configuration dot get connection string, and within bracket we need to specify our connection string, which is employee context. curly braces open, curly braces close. Next, we need to write a SQL query. So let's write it. So string query is equal to, within double quotes, select ID, comma name, comma salary, and let's say a dot department because we are going to use left join here, comma department name, from TBL employee space A, left join, TBL department space B. On A dot department is equal to B dot DEPT underscore ID, semicolon. Next, we require a SQL command object. So using SQL command cmd is equal to new SQL command. And you can see in its second constructor required command text of type string, which is nothing but a SQL query. So let's provide it to it. Bracket close, curly braces open, curly braces close. Next, specify which connection this command object should use. So cmd.connection is equal to con. Next, open that connection by writing con.open. And we also need to close that connection once our work is done. So con.close. Next, we need a Sql Data Reader object to read data. So using Sql Data Reader, SDR is equal to cmd.executeReader. Curly braces open, curly braces close. While SDR.read, curly braces open, curly braces close. And let's add employee details one by one. So employees.add, bracket open, and let's say new employee, curly braces open, curly braces close, bracket close, semicolon. And let's say ID is equal to convert.toInt 32, and within bracket SDR, and within square bracket let's say ID. And name is equal to SDR name.toString. And similarly add salary as well as department. And we are done. So our Sql Db Layer class ready to provide details from database. We will test in our upcoming videos whether it is working fine or not. So we are done with our models concept. All classes within employee folder is there to handle data and business logic, right? Nothing new, normal CS classes. Hope you will get the idea what model is all about. It is just a terminology. We are working with these C# since we started learning these technologies, right? So that's it from this tutorial. Do let me know if you have any doubts and comments. Till then, thanks for watching.